It's time for the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Powerful and liberating business strategies you can start in 5 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, Dean Soto.
Hey, this is Dean Soto, founder of freedomin5minutes.com. And we're here again with another Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Today's topic is this. You don't know something until you look underneath it all. That and more coming up. All right, there was a slight little pause there because I had a certain title in my mind and that was not the actual titles, but we don't ever restart this podcast. Just the way it works. So it was the title. It's the same topic, but it's not the same title. Anyway, all that being said, so over the last few weeks, there has been some trees planted on our property over here in beautiful Central California. Oh man, so we went to the nursery. Went to the nursery and got a whole bunch of trees that were on sale for 50% off. And I've never planted a tree in my life, but we got, let me count them real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 trees. 14 amazing trees. And these things, oh man, very surprising. Very surprising. So here's how it generally worked. So we brought the trees. For one, we brought the trees in our van because we don't have a truck or anything like that. I need to get a truck because our van from there was completely soiled with soil. Yes, soiled with soil. That was wonderful. And completely soiled with soil when we got here. Pulled out the trees, and we literally didn't know where the heck we wanted to put these trees in the first place. And the reason being is we have a lot of land. We have about 20 acres, but obviously we wanted to put these trees close to where we were, and we have a lot of rocks where we're at. It's a very hilly. There's a lot of granite all over the place. Okay, and because there's a lot of granite, you can't take for granted where you're going to plant. Yes, that was a pun. But you can't take for granted where you're going to actually, granted where you're going to go and plant. Because it's interesting so we have this path where we go down to our chicken coop, and we call it Animal Alley. Have a whole bunch of different places where we're going to put a bunch of stuff. It's down past our house and below our house, and it just looks really cool. We're going to put little signs and things, make it look really cute eventually. But along that path, we wanted to have some shade, so we started planting these trees on both sides of this path. And these trees they're called Lu or something like that. Jujubes. They're jujubes. If you never had a jujube, very, very interesting. Very interesting. A jujube, when it is ripe, so it's actually ripe in two circumstances. It is when it's ripe in the beginning, you can eat it, and it tastes like a very sweet, dry apple. It has a very dry taste to it. There's not much moisture in it. It's extremely interesting. I've never it's such a weird texture because you expect to bite into it and have juices flowing and everything like that, but it really is just this dry texture that really takes a little bit of getting used to. But once you do get used to it, you start seeing, it's pretty dang good. It tastes really good. And the second thing you can do with it is you can actually let it dry out on the vine or pull it off and let it dry out. And when you do that, it turns into basically a date. It tastes like almost exactly like a date. So it has that kind of chewy, caramely, very flavorful type of taste to it. And so it's a really interesting type of tree and fruit and stuff. So when we got these things, we started planting them, and I had to take my pickaxe to get a whole bunch of rocks out of the way. I mean, huge rocks. We have decomposing granite. We have actual granite. We have a whole bunch of things. And so I think I hear my baby crying. Oh, I do hear a baby. Who's this baby? Who's this baby that's coming out? Is that an Amelie baby? Oh, I love you guys. Okay, I'm doing a podcast, okay? All right, here. But you guys can play. You guys can do whatever you like.
No, Dad.
Yeah.
Alicia told us to say, do you need any help working?
Huh?
Dad,
I don't need any help working. Go upstairs and play, have fun. You guys can play Roblox if you want. We're going to be going to church at before 6, okay? Okay.
Thanks.
Love you. Close the door. All right. So that was my wonderful kids wanting to play some games. So anyway, all that being said, so here's the interesting thing about it. Here's the thing is that everything looked good on the surface. Everything looked like it was going to be awesome. Everything looked like, yeah, if you looked and you didn't see, if you just were like planning, I'm going to put these things right here, it's going to be great, awesome. But as soon as we started mining, essentially, as soon as we started digging, we were hitting rock after rock after rock. So we had to change plans 2 or 3 times. And so while it looked good on the surface, it was nasty underneath. So it was very hard to decide how to put these in a way where to put these in a way where they are going to survive, right? That they're going to do well in the weather and so on. And so, especially with transplant shock and all this other stuff that plants go through. And so it was just a very unique and very interesting experience, but it's akin to another experience that happened, which was my buddy Paul, one of my partners in one of the businesses. He and I spoke at WeWork down in 2 of the WeWorks. We got invited to speak at them down in the Southern California in Costa Mesa. And it was really interesting because they loved us. They loved us as speakers. We got lots of awesome comments and everything like that. But right afterward, we were expecting people come up and say, hey, we'd like to have you consult with us, and we'd like to have a virtual systems architect and all this other stuff. And that really didn't happen. We had a lot of people stop and say, hey, we love what you did. It was awesome. It was super fun. Great job, and so on and so forth. But didn't really get that the business end of it. And so I'm thinking, like, what did we do wrong? That's so weird. Like, I'm so used to with some of the other businesses that I have where it's immediately you're going to have people buying, you have people interested, and so on and so forth, right? Well, here's the thing with that is that so we had a questionnaire that we had made up right beforehand. And in this questionnaire, we asked several questions. Obviously, in a questionnaire, you ask questions. But we asked several questions about everybody's business. And it was from the questionnaires that they submitted at the very end. It was from the questionnaires that we started to see that they were very, very interested, that they wanted us to contact them, wanted us to set up a time to talk, to meet with them, to possibly consult with them, and so on and so forth. Completely took us by surprise because we're thinking that was great. It must have been a very informative talk, but we didn't get any business from it. And it's fun. We love giving so much value and everything like that, and it's fun. But it was kind of like, what did we do wrong from the business end of things, right? Well, it just turns out that that WeWork audience they are a very tight community. WeWork is awesome. If you ever get a chance to ever get a chance to actually go and check out a WeWork and spend time with the community managers there and with the community in general, there are a wide range of people, but one thing is that they're very, very tight. Everybody there, and these are hundreds of businesses, hundreds of people, but it's a very tight group. And because it's a very tight group, nobody wants to, they didn't want to just come out and say, hey, yeah, we love for you to do this, for that, for this and that, for whatever reason. I don't know why, but that's just the vibe. That's just the way it is, right? And so on the surface, it looked like possibly it was just a informative talk, and no one was really interested. But deep underneath, once we got the questionnaires back and email people, talk with people, we saw that, oh wow, we did provide a ton of value. We provided enough value to where they wanted more. They wanted to work with us. They wanted more contact, right? So here's the thing is, why is this important? It's important because a lot of the times you're going to do things where you just have to go that extra level. If we didn't have the questionnaire, we wouldn't have found out some of the reasons why. We wouldn't have known that they actually wanted us to consult with them, right? And if we didn't know our terrain at our home, if we didn't know and we didn't dig around and mess around and see and really check things out and know what we were getting into when we bought our new plants, we would have immediately we wouldn't have known. We would have started grabbing plants, trying to plant, getting frustrated and stopping, right? Without the questionnaire, we would have gotten frustrated and said, hey, we work, this is not worth it. This is, we love doing the talks, but obviously I have to travel down. It's time away from my family. It's super, super fun. Love giving value to people, but at the same time, I have to feed my family, and so it's great. It's a great community, and it actually that would have made me extremely sad if I wasn't able to actually spend time with the community and grow and help them in any way we can, because it's cool because we had and we have several different types of systemization and automation talks lined up, systemizing. So this was kind of a overall Freedom in 5 Minutes talk with a company. We run a company called Legion, which is predominantly for lead generation, and that's who this was. But giving kind of the Freedom in 5 Minutes concept at this talk, we wanted to get into the next go-rounds into lead generation and sales and marketing and all of these other things that you can apply systems and automation to. And so it was just a great thing to see that they actually were not just interested from an informative thing, but actually wanted to work with us so we can help them with their business and so on and so forth. So what's one thing where, you might have gotten just on the surface? Maybe you wrote a book, or you were writing a book, or maybe you talked to somebody who you thought was going to be able to help you in some way with your business, and you just talked on the phone, but you didn't let them actually do a proposal or something like that. Or maybe it's something like you, maybe even in a relationship where you met with a guy or met with a girl, and you went on one date, it's super quick, and you didn't do that second date for whatever reason, maybe too busy or whatever, and you didn't get a chance to go below the surface, or you just went on a date and just talked about surface level things. You never know what you're going to get until you go deeper. Never know what you're going to get until you have 2 or 3 levels of depth to an individual, to a situation, and so on and so forth. So where right now in your maybe in your body, in your spirituality, in your business, or in your family, are you kind of just staying surface level? And I just challenge you to look at least one thing and go deeper into that one thing, because you're going to find that that's where the treasure is. That's where the good stuff is. And the more that you can get deep like that, the more happy, more fulfilled, the more benefits you're going to see in the long run. All right, so it's Dean Soto, Freedom in 5 Minutes. I will catch you guys later on the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Now, head over to www.freedomin5minutes.com and register for our free masterclass and discover how to start systemizing and automating your entire business 5 minutes at a time. We'll see you next time on the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast.